so today I'm going to be filming my November wrap-up. Let me just lead by saying I'm very sorry about this lighting. It's actually only 1:30 in the afternoon, but it's so dark outside that you can't see anything, so I had to turn on the light and had to take another lamp to just sort of, to some degree, light this place up. So I don't know, I'm very sorry that it looks kind of danky, but this is the winter. Yeah. Anyway, so let's jump into all the books I read in November. I actually didn't do too bad, but that's because I read a lot of graphic novels. I don't really have a lot of time and or inclination to read at the moment, but I enjoyed most of the books I read this month, so that's a plus, I guess. Let's just start by getting all of the graphic novels out of the way. I hauled all of these, and I think I hauled them after I read them, so I might have already mentioned what I thought of them. The first one is The Complete Mouse, and obviously I added them as Mouse 1 and Mouse 2 on Goodreads, so as to count for 2 books. And this is by Art Spiegelman. It's just a graphic novel set in World War II, where the cats are, where Germans are depicted as cats and Jews as mice, and it's really well done, and I just enjoyed this so much. Next, I followed another hype that again proved to be amazing, and it's the Saga trilogy. Yay! So I read Saga 1 and Volume 2 and Volume 3. No, Volume 2 and Volume 3. So, sorry, this way around. I really enjoyed this series. It's definitely an adult series because some of the scenes are very graphic, but it has sci-fi elements and fantasy elements and romance elements. It's just all around really awesome, and these are really quick reads. As you can see, they're very short and they're graphic novels, so this literally doesn't take any time. And oh my god, I'm so excited for Volume 4 because it's so good and I want to see what happens next. Oh my gosh, it's so awesome. I love it. And then the last graphic novel I read this month was Through the Woods by Emily Carroll. This is a book collection of 5 short stories that are very creepy, and oh my gosh, I love it. Let me see. Look at that. Look at those pages. Look at how creepy all of this is. Oh my gosh, I hope it just didn't spoil you, but oh my god, it's so good. And a lot of these don't make any particular sense. Like, it's not like at the end you're like, oh my god, revelation, because they're too short for that kind of thing, but they're definitely very creepy and give you this eerie feeling, and it's just, I love it, especially when it's dark outside and it's like winter or fall, and it's like, you're just creeped out so much by this book. I also read Not That Kind of Girl by Lena Dunham this month. I really enjoyed this because I'm also a really big fan of Girls, the TV show, and this is basically the book version. And there's been so much controversy surrounding this, and it's super ridiculous in my opinion. Like, I don't know, there's certain things that you just can't assume of children, I think. And I mean, if you look up what child psychologists actually thought of the events that she described in these books, you'll see that they actually said this is totally normal. I'm just annoyed by this whole ordeal because I think that, you know, even though there are articles by actual professionals who know their stuff on this topic out there, nobody cares about them and nobody talks about them, and most people just prefer believing media and random people on the internet about this kind of stuff instead of the people who actually know what they're talking about. And I think that's very sad, and it's just very stupid as well. On to more happy topics. As I read The Murder Complex by Lindsay Cummings. This is actually one of the worst books I read this month, or actually the worst book I read this month. I had rather high expectations of this because, again, I heard about it on BookTube. I know Lindsay Cummings does YouTube videos herself. I'm subscribed to her channel. I think she's a really awesome person, and at the same time, I just really didn't enjoy this book. I'm very sorry, but it's true. I did actually start off liking this book quite a lot because I really enjoyed the premise, and I was excited where it would go. Like, the murder complex sounds really intriguing, but then when you read on, you realize that you actually don't know what the murder complex is, and not in a good way. Like, even when they try to explain it, even by the end of the book, I was still like, what the hell are we even talking about here? Like, I still don't know 100% what this is. What is it? Let me know. Like, just, I don't know, it seemed like the author herself wasn't quite sure what it was going to be, and then just had it all over the place a little bit. And also the story is very fast-paced, but not in a good way. It's very just like, and then they did this, and then they did that, and then they did that, and so, like, action scenes that could have been like drawn out and described for like maybe 1 or 2 pages end up being 2 or 3 sentences. So It's all very like, oh, I could invest something in that, but then the event is already over and I didn't have enough time to actually get emotionally invested or even care about the situation at all. Also, the characters are very like stereotypical, and the romance is the worst romance story ever. Moon Girl, are you fucking kidding me? Why? Why does he randomly see pictures of her in his head? Like, it's just forced romance in my opinion, and I don't like that. It's just, no. Maybe it's made for younger audiences, I don't know. Again, I did enjoy this at the beginning, but then it was just too much of that. Let's get a good book in its mix, shall we? And it's Snow Like Ashes by Sarah Rash. This book was in my most anticipated fall releases video, and oh my god, it is so good. Why is it so good? Seriously, was really, really good. It's about a world where there are different countries that are all called after a season, and we are talking about the country of the kingdom of winter. And this country has been overtaken by the kingdom of spring 16 years ago, and there are a couple of refugees from winter now trying to get their country back, basically, and one of them is their king. And the protagonist of this book is Mira, who is really adventurous and who is also trying to just desperately be of some use to her country. And again, overall, I really, really loved this book. I thought it was amazing. Honestly, having read as much YA as I have, the scenes where she went talking about her love interest and then just mid-sentence going like, no, I have better things to worry about. I was just like, oh my god, I love you so much. Thank you. Finally, thank you. Honestly, this is what's been missing. This is what I need. Thank you. Thank you. There is, however, a love triangle in there, but it's a kind of good love triangle because you're actually conflicted about who you gonna ship because both of the guys are awesome. Also, there's a really big plot twist like just before the ending, and I had known about what was gonna happen maybe like 80 pages in, 70 pages in, 60 pages in, something like that. It was very obvious to me, and at first I actually wasn't sure if it was gonna happen because it took so long, and I was like, wait, what if I'm wrong? Well, of course I wasn't wrong. It's very predictable in that sense. Let me know in the comments if you figured it out as well, because oh my gosh, how can you not? I'm sorry, but how can you not? Anyway, again, overall, I really enjoyed this book and I totally recommend it. Another book from my most anticipated fall book release is happening, shenanigans, is Exquisite Captive by Heather Demetrius. This book is about genies and awesomeness, and unfortunately, it's also quite disappointing. There were actually quite a lot of things that I took issue with in this book, but I still overall enjoyed it, I guess. I'm not sure, I'm like on the fence about it, I guess. There was quite a few plot holes. There was insta-love that was just, I mean, no, why again? It's like, that's always a con for me, just insta-love. All of the insta-love. Also, I wasn't particularly a fan of the protagonist. Like, she didn't really make sense half the time. Like, one minute she was like, I want to kill you, and then when someone actually killed that person for her, she was like, what the fuck did you just do? Why did you kill him? No! I'm like, what the fuck? You just planned this person's murder out in graphic detail in your head, and then when it actually happens by someone else's hand, you're like, no, why is that a thing? I didn't understand it, honestly. It was very confusing. But I did like that this book was kind of feminist, and I enjoyed the overall style of writing. So if you're thinking about buying this book, I'd say just give it a go and see how you like it. I think you could still enjoy it. If you want a more detailed review, I put one up on Goodreads. So just follow me on Goodreads and check out my Exquisite Captive review there. It has more coherent thought in it, because I wrote it right after I read it, and that means I have more of this book in my head. And then the final book I read in November was The Clockwork Scarab by Colleen Gleason. This is a Stoker and Holmes novel. Basically, it means the protagonists are the sister of Bram Stoker and the niece of Sherlock Holmes, and they're having to solve a crime. And that's just the best premise ever. It is set in steampunk London, and overall, again, I thought the premise sounded so freaking awesome, but unfortunately, the book did not deliver. Why did I say I enjoyed all of the books I read this month? It's just not true. I was lying. Lies were being told. My main issue with this book was that it kind of tried to cover too many topics or too many areas and too many genres. It literally had fantasy, sci-fi, steampunk, vampires, romance, time time travel? Like, honestly, why did it have a time travel aspect? There was no reason whatsoever for there to be time travel in this book, like at all. At some point, just this random guy appears from our time in steampunk London. It's not even a spoiler because it literally is such a meaningless thing. It doesn't matter. Honestly, the only thing that he is good for is using his iPhone to create some noise to distract people. That's all that he does in the story. Oh, and also, he's a point of a love triangle. That brings us, though, to the weird romance situation. There was double romance because we had two protagonists. Double romance, double insta-love. Oh my god, because why not? If you're already halfway there, just go there completely and make it insta-love. And then to top it off, one of those is a love triangle, and the other one has a hint of love triangle. So what the actual fuck? That is just, whew, oh my god. The single version of that is already bad enough. A double, nope, thank you very much, but I'm just not gonna enjoy that then. Yeah, that's the thing. Also, the story itself seemed very juvenile. The crime itself was really not interesting at all. Like, I just did not care about anything. And then I was like hoping that the revelation would be something bigger or something like enjoyable at all. And then it just didn't get resolved. And the bad guy just disappeared, just gone, and we don't know who it is. And it's like, all of this horrible leading up to nothing. That was very disappointing, to be quite honest. I'm very disappointed in this book, if you couldn't tell already. I thought it was going to be cool. Again, I really like the premise. Like, how can you mess up a premise this cool? I'm so sorry, but this is horrible. And I just didn't enjoy it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you're enjoying Vlogmas. And I will see you soon. Bye!